Hey, everybody, welcome back to another Wednesday evening live stream with the Shower Door Professionals right here in cyberspace, streaming to a location near you. That's right, all of these pros in one place. Man, no telling what might happen. Want to invite you to go ahead and join us in here. If you'd like, you can just click on the link in the Facebook post. It'll route you right into the Zoom call here where you will be screened meticulously and thoroughly vetted. Do a little background check on you, and if it all checks out, we'll let you in. And you can chat with the pros, man. Big time. Hope you're all having a great week. I sure am. I just love Wednesdays, like, shower door pros and all that. It's like hump day, halfway through the week. Man, it's great. I see Christina out there. She's driving. Look at her. She's covering some ground out there. So dedicated. What's going on, Christina? How are you doing today?
Keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah, watch the road.
Thanks, Dad. I'm great. Things are great. Weather's great. It's all good. We have made a lot of progress with the co-op. If you have a lot of questions about the co-op, last week's call covered a lot of things. I don't want to commandeer every single call, so I'll try to be cognizant of that. But if you do have questions, please feel free to reach out at any time. I think I posted my cell phone number on the Facebook page. You can direct message me on Facebook. You can reach out to Rob Gomez, Lana McNary Rouse, or Shannon McKinney and Chris Phillips. All of us are on the board of the co-op, so we've got the know-how, and we've been in meetings and all sorts of stuff. A couple questions came up about whether you would have market exclusivity. That is a great question. I know a lot of people are really concerned with that. It is worth noting that the co-op structure is not legally allowed to discriminate on membership based on geographic location. We obviously want to be fair to all of the members, of course, but we also want to improve the industry. And the best way to do that is raising each other up, even if we're in the same industry. And I think we all have overlap on this call. If you don't, good for you, but it's coming for you. And I just think that we all serve different segments of the market a little bit differently, and we can really play into that and find the right vendor for the right customer. And so I wouldn't worry too much about it, honestly. But if it really does bother you or worry you, please feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to have a conversation about it. But there is also that, legal deal. So next, if you have filled out the form, the longer one, thank you so much. I did not realize last week that it was not correct. The showerdoorprofessionals.com website only had the 5-question form. So if you filled that out, we'll be reaching out to you as well. But if you haven't filled out the longer form, please now go to showerdoorprofessionals.com. The longer form is on there. Rob Gomez, if you're on the call, if you could go ahead and post that link. And I posted it last week as well, and I'll probably post it on the page after this call. If you haven't heard from me yet, you haven't missed anything. I just have been really, really busy working my actual full-time job at the Shower Door Guy, but I am coming out with those membership emails very, very soon. I just have not had a chance to get our bank account set up yet, and I'm really sorry about that. So got to get the bank account set up to have membership, and I've got to get all the Department of Revenue crap set up as you all have done in your businesses. So give me a little grace and patience, but I will get to every single person, I promise. So, and I hope to do it before the end of the week. So, all right, that's all I got. Anything else? Chris, did I miss anything?
Red tape. So much fun. No, you did a great job. That's great. And I love what you were talking about there. I mean, if you've been in business for any amount of time, um, you really have to learn how to distinguish yourself from other people in your industry, right? I mean, I remember when I first started out, whenever I saw another glass truck in my town, I was like, oh, these guys, man, they're out there taking my work. And that's kind of a normal, like, visceral reaction that you have, to competition when you're new. But pretty soon you figure out, man, these guys are here, and I'm going to have to differentiate myself from everybody else and figure out what I really excel at and focus on that. So, I know here in my area, I've got Tim over there. He's not that far away from me. We've got like Adrian, he's kind of in our area. So there's a few people on this call, that we have some overlap, like Christina was talking about. And it's like we're all friends. We like each other, man. And we send each other customers sometimes. Like there's somebody who like really sucks and I hate them and I think they're going to be a pain in the ass. I give them Tim's number, because I'm just, it's the kind of guy I am. So no, I'm just kidding, Tim. But yeah,
Chris, I also forgot to talk about the glass build party.
Oh yeah, don't forget about that.
Yeah. We are, and I got your email today, by the way. That's super exciting. We'll talk about that. But yay, we are gonna have a party at Glass Build. And we'll finally get to all hang out together and see each other. So I think Chris is making an event for that on the Facebook page if he has not already. But if you would like to join this event, this party, we are planning on having it on Monday night. We are hoping to have it at Top Golf. But we don't know yet for sure. We're still working out partners and budgets and all that good stuff. But we want to see you there. And we will talk a little bit about the co-op probably because it's going to be a party for the co-op, but it's for shower door professionals and it's just for anybody who wants to meet each other in person and hang out and have a good time because we're going to have a long, good glass build. And, sometimes you just have earned a beer at the end of the day too. So come out, hang out with us, and it'll be really fun.
Show off your golf swing, works out like that. Yeah, cool. That's super exciting. So yeah, what I have posted in the Facebook group is a poll. So it's just asking a few questions if you're going, about how many people you're bringing and how you feel about, having an event. So go ahead and fill out that poll. That'll help us, get an idea of how people are feeling about it. And, we'll see, we'll be able to see who filled it out and be able to reach out to you and give you updates and all that stuff. So should be fun.
And I think it'll be really fun. And I think it maybe goes without saying, but just in case, it is not a private or closed event necessarily, and we want to include everybody. But if you're bringing all of your installers, I would not make this a company party. We do not have a budget for that. This co-op is not a profit center in any capacity. So I would just recommend keeping it like 2 to 3 people per business if that's possible. So, alrighty.
Yeah, I'm guessing that most people, unless you're located in Dallas, you're probably not going to be bringing your whole crew. Daniel was asking where it is. It's in Dallas this year. So yeah, like I say, I mean, unless you're in the immediate area, I can't imagine you bring a whole bunch of people. Most people bring, 2 to 4, something like that, if they're going. So that'll be awesome. Yeah, as soon as I've got a little bit more information, we really have it kind of nailed down where we're going to be, I will post an event in the group and we'll be talking about it. So excellent. Thanks again, Christina. Good job. Good job. Good job. Good job, everybody. All right. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty. Anybody have a question or a topic that they want to talk about this week?
I have a
I actually
question.
do. Oh, you
Ooh,
go
yeah,
first.
I like that. Go for it.
Ladies first.
Ah, what a gentleman.
Oh, thank you. I'll go really fast, I swear. Has anybody used smart glass before? The one that turns on and off?
Yeah, we use it all the time.
Really? Do you like it? Do you use the laminated or the film?
Well, what's called switch light, which is inside the glass. So it's laminated.
Okay. And then do you have a vendor you like for that? Because I've talked to a few and
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Well, we used one that went out of business, but now M3 out of Dallas.
Oh, I like that.
M3 glass, the Mammons. They do a
I
nice
didn't know
job.
they had that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll reach out to them. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. The question that I have is this. For those of you that started your own business and you brought family in, do you treat your family members as employees? Do you give them a percentage of the company? How have you structured that?
I can answer your question, but we all started together, so I didn't bring them in. We're all partners. So that's probably not what you're looking for. You're looking at, you've already started the business and you're bringing somebody in new. Is that
Yeah, I'm
correct?
just curious how you guys have done it.
I don't know if anybody here is like that other than Christina and Brad. Christina, you have,
Yeah.
we never asked, do you have ownership?
I don't have ownership. And I prefer it that way. It makes it a lot easier to be an LLC and to move money and all the financial crap and all the taxes and everything. It just makes it a heck of a lot easier to keep it as an LLC.
Mhm.
But it can be difficult, I guess, just to wonder. I mean, I know what I'm working for and I enjoy what I do, so it's not really a big deal to me, but I could see how it would rub somebody the wrong way if you didn't give them the option for ownership.
Inheritance,
It just
that's what
doesn't make
she's
sense for
working for.
my dad.
That's okay. So Elibot, I'm part of a family-owned business council out of our local college. And that question comes up, and it also depends if they're active in the business or passive. And you can structure it anyway. There's no real law telling you what you have to do. So it's really up to you to decide how you want to do it. And what's important, if that person coming in is going to take a really active role, you could have them purchase some shares of the company if you want. And it depends how you are structured also. It depends if you're a C Corp, a sub S Corp, an LLC like Christina is. So you have all sorts of options of what works for you. Does that help you, or are you still looking for some more
Well,
detail?
I have a little more detail for him. And one of the complications, we're an LLC, subchapter S. And, if I was to pass away anytime in the next year or two or three or whatever, and I gave Christina, let's say, a large percentage of the business, that would not be good. So my attorney told me only do like 5% per year. But then the complications become that once you get to a certain percent, now, she has to be on all the documents. If, let's say, personal guarantees might come into play, she gets tied to it more. And I wanted to insulate her actually from that. I would love to give her, part of the business. I have no qualms with that. It's just, I want to keep it simple and not complicate things. So that's my 2 cents.
Just trying to help Elibon here. I don't know if what we're answering is actually what he's looking for, because it can go either way. There's so many different ways it could go. So maybe he's got a particular situation he'd like to drill down on.
Yeah. We're family ran here at Noble, and it's basically my mom and dad. I think my dad has 75% ownership and my mom has 25%. I'm not sure exactly why it's like that, but it's been me, my sister, and for a while my brother, but he's kind of in and out of the business. He's out now, and it's the best. But we've never had ownership, and we've never really asked for it. But what we are doing now, and we're talking about, we're trying to do an evaluation on the company so that I could purchase him out, and we got to figure that out. Like, we got to figure that purchase agreement out, like how much anyway. So that's what we're dealing with. So essentially I'm going to be buying him out and just paying him through profits over the next few years once we get an agreement made and stuff like that. Because I don't want him to just, I don't want to just be given the business, because it's his retirement. So he's got to be bought out and he needs to be paid for it properly. So our family, nobody's ever really been given shares of it just because we're family. And I hear Dave Ramsey, he talks about it a lot as far as family businesses and stuff, because he's a family business, but I don't know any particular instances. But if you listen to him, he's got some good insight too on family business. But essentially I'm going to buy my father out. That's how I'm going to get my shares and ownership of the company. So, but how that's going to work, I don't know. I'm going to buy him out. We're going to come up with an agreement, and we got to figure out am I buying the whole thing or whatever, since it's 75 with my dad and 25 with my mother, we got to figure out how that's going to work. And then we got to decide within the family, just because my sister works in the business, but she doesn't want ownership, do we even give her any, or do we give her a little bit just because she works at the business and she's family? And then my brother, he's not actively in the business. And honestly, I'd be pissed off every time I had to write him a check if I was paying dividends and he's not there anymore working, just because he has the same last name, well, I don't think so. So like, if I had to buy it, if I had to put money up for it, why the hell are you getting a check? So that's how we're, if you want to call it, structured, I guess, over here, and how we're trying to move forward. But no family other than my mother and father have shares of it. So
Interesting.
Elabon, what are you trying to do? Out of curiosity, if you might.
No, just thinking about, when my children are older, if they ever wanted to work in the family, would I bring them as employees, as, owners? But in my mind, they will have ownership maybe of a different branch of the company that were there, work, and, pretty much have all the knowledge and experience, not just something that is given to them, but they work for, but, they will have ownership of that portion that they'll be working on.
Eliban, when you started, did your father have the business going before you started?
Well, in our family, my dad started the business in 1986 in Mexico.
Yeah.
And so he was the sole owner over there. But when we moved to the States, then it was my father, my brother, and I that started the company. So we all have ownership of our current company.
Okay.
But, as we are growing and thinking about the future, you think about, if you bring other family members in that they're actually working in the company and they're actively working in the company, then, you give them a small percentage and then they can have more in the future, or, buy some, I guess. But I was just curious to see how you guys were structuring.
Yeah, you can
I would
structure
talk
it
to a
any way you
lawyer.
want.
Yeah,
you could,
Yeah, you
tax
definitely want to get
guy and a
involved.
lawyer.
yeah, and you could also pay them off the bottom line as a family member if you wanted to, instead of giving them actual ownership, and make them feel like they're an owner by giving them a percentage of the bottom line, but they don't actually have shares or own, actual documented ownership. And you just pay them off the bottom line as if they were an owner. And, you could do that.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can
I
get up
think
to
there's,
13,000 tax free. Each Each child can make up to $13,000 a year tax-free.
Sweet. I like that.
That's a
I like the
lot
sound
because
of
you can
that.
get the deduction off of your profits, right? So you're
Right.
paying taxes on your profits, so that's 13,000 less per kid.
Bill, can you do that if it's an employee? Like, can I give Christina that amount so that she wouldn't have to pay that much on taxes, or that taxes on that portion, I should say?
No, once she exceeds the 13,000, then it opens it up. You can go up to, but not to exceed.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
And you
you
can
don't,
start that when they turn 15. So, and that can go into a retirement, their retirement savings. They could open a Roth IRA or something like that. And that's one of the, I think Clark Howard has some documents on that, some articles on that. So that's a really smart thing to do and a smart way to use your profits to invest in your kids.
Christine, you might want to check that. It might, I don't even think they have to be 15. I think you could start them as young as you want, as long as they're doing something, like they could be emptying trash thing or washing your windows or just doing something in the company. Because it's a family
check it
business. I don't think the child labor laws apply there.
That's a big thought here too. My son's
This
12
would
and I'm
be-
trying to figure out how to get him some money in a retirement thing already
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
the business. So that's a big thought process over here.
Yeah, and it reduces your taxable liability.
Great conversation. It's
No
a great
kidding.
topic. If we could
Yeah.
find, maybe an expert that could give us some pointers on that.
I may be able to help you shortly. Matter of fact, I had an 1.5 hour discussion with a tax planning strategist today, and that's one of my goals for this year. So as I learn, I'll be able to help anybody. And they, depending on what your particular income, they may be interested in working with you as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you can find somebody who can talk about that stuff and make it interesting,
Yeah,
that which is pretty challenging, but some people can do it. Some
Yeah.
people are really talented enough to like talk numbers and keep keep you from falling asleep. But I mean, I'd love to have someone like that on the call,
Yeah.
and learn
Yeah.
more about this. I love that idea of like not paying taxes. That just
Yeah.
appeals to me.
So the saying goes, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Right?
Yep.
Yeah, everybody can make X amount gross, but what's their net amount when all is said and done? What's their net amount?
Rob's posting articles in the chat, so take a look in there. You should keep your eye on the chat, actually, whenever you're on this call, because Rob's always posting stuff.
Actually, Tax Slayer is a good one.
Yeah.
There's another one I see all the time, Boris Bakhailov or something like that. His name is Boris. He's got a whole thing on that for kids. Good stuff, Rob. See, Eliban, you brought up a good one.
Thank you.
Elibon, do you have brothers and sisters or you started saying so with your parents and then you, so how many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have 4 brothers and 1 sister.
Okay, and then how many kids do they have?
I have 3. I have a brother has 1, then a sister that has 2.
All right, so I come from a 3rd generation family where my grandparents started it. It started to get diluted when their 3 kids, which was my dad, got involved, and then his 2 sisters, and then I was 3rd generation, and I started to kind of look around going, I don't know if my piece of the pie is going to be big enough one day. So as 3rd generation, as it is just so split up that I had to leave based on that, just because it was just not a big enough piece of the pie for me. So I left. My brother never worked there, but I grabbed my brother and we opened our own. And then my grandfather unfortunately passed away, and then the 2nd generation destroyed the business. And then so thankfully I went on my own 11, 12 years ago, and I can kind of stand on my own 2 feet right now. But it's just family just gets messy. And the further down the generational like kind of lines it goes, the more people get involved and the wider it gets, and the more difficult it is to hold it all together. Because when there's just two at the top, that's great. Only two people need to get along, and the whole, you know, it stays together well. And then it goes down one generation. There's more people, it goes down, and then now you have 12 people that all have to get along, and it creates a mess. So just based on like experience, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it based on previous experience, I would just keep an eye out on it for your kids' sake.
That is very true.
Yeah, it can get messy if you ever wanted to sell it. You know, like you got to get all those heads together to try to figure out how to sell it.
Correct. And like, and now I don't have any relationship with that side of the family because it got really bad, and they're closed and they went out of business. So now they're not too happy, but it is what it is. So like, just for the sake of your family, I would just keep that in mind. Sometimes it's better to not have them involved in the family business to keep the family and the business, because sometimes you merge the two and you lose one, which is what happened to me.
You were going to say something, Bill?
Well, this seminar that I was at was all about trying to lay out situations for family business, whether it was divorce, you know, husband, wife, kid, then a divorce. How does that get split? How does all sorts of things, death, and how does it pass away? When you want to sell the business, how do you do it? They have things that are called non-voting shares, or they call them phantom shares. They have a part of the business. They enjoy the dividends and distributions you give out, but have no voting right. So should you want to sell the business, you don't have to get everybody else to sign off on it. And I mean, that's a big topic that you have to give it a lot of thought to. And, you know, things change. You can give it part of the business to your son, then your son could get married to somebody that could potentially destroy him and the business in the process. So you have to be careful with that also. So there's a lot of stuff. From what I found out from these guys, we are an anomaly to be able to work together like that and continue to grow. Most family businesses, somewhere along the line, out of all their control, something happens and it gets really messy and ugly.
Bill, you're a little bit of an anomaly because your first and second generation, you guys started together.
Yeah.
A lot of the times the first generation starts and the second generation takes for granted that people are always going to be walking in that door, because when they started, people were walking in that door, and the first generation realizes how hard it was to get them to walk in that door when you turn the key to open that first day and there's nobody there. But that second generation, the chair gets rolled up, have a seat, you know, and the people come walking in the door. That's so like, you guys are that anomaly because you started all together and you all.
Well, Mike, we started together in Florida. We didn't start together in Massachusetts. Don and I started in Massachusetts when Keith and Doug were very, very small. They were still in school. When we sold up there and we restarted in Florida, then we went in together as partnerships and we're all equal.
And you all had the hustle too.
Oh yeah, we knew nobody. We started from scratch. Yeah.
But that's something that a lot of the times the second generation does not have to pick up on.
Right.
They don't have to experience that nothingness.
Well, hey, here's a great example. Like you saw my post this week. I've got a friend that has an affiliate store of ours out in Oklahoma City. He's got the same situation. He's got a son, and he and his son don't see eye to eye, and he would love to see the son come up in the business, but he feels one way, the other son feels the other way, and the son feels he would be better for himself to go work for somebody else, not to compete against his dad. He'll move out of city. So that leaves the guy in Oklahoma City with no lead installer or measure. So he's got to do everything himself. So he reached out to me and I said, well, maybe you want a partner, or maybe you want to sell to somebody, or you want to hire a full-time guy and give him some ownership. So that's why I put that post out. It was amazing how many people responded to that and were interested. I was getting private message from quite a few people. I think if it wasn't Oklahoma City, there would have been more, depending on where the city is. Oklahoma City is not one that would come to mind, if you're thinking of starting a business. Although it's a great city and there's a lot of wealth there. But it's funny that topic comes up because I was kind of on the phone tonight counseling both the son and the father separately to try and work something out where they could work together.
And Bill, something that I have noticed is that families that are together, families that are strong and they're in business, they grow exponentially more than those that go on their own. I have seen that, your family, I think, is a good example. I'm not sure if you know the Juliaos down in Miami with Inner Glass.
Yeah.
They're a family that is together. They're strong as a family, and their business grows. And I feel that in some way our family is the same. So that's why I was asking. I know that no every single member of the family is gonna work the same, or everybody may have a different strength or weakness, but that's something that I've seen only in the glass industry, but in other industries, when there's family members that are very strong, they grow huge. I have some friends that are in the nail industry, the Garretts, and they're really really successful just selling nails, and it's they just have a really strong family relationship, and that shows in the business.
Sure. It can work. It has to have the right personalities, the right blend. But
everybody needs the drive. Not everybody has the drive. I mean, like you have Keith and you have Doug, and they have different drives, but they both have drive in different ways.
Yeah.
Donna has her own drive. I've seen you all. I've seen you all in different ways. But like some families, just not everybody has that drive. Not everybody has that drive.
Well, you only need one.
Animosity.
You need one driver, but you got to have the other ones to buy into it, right, Mike? And you've got. I'm going to say that you have more of a drive than Matt. Matt's very good, but I think you're going to be the driving force, and a lot of that is your education, your computer background. You can set up processes and procedures. Once you get Matt set up, he can follow them really well and do really good. So he's not actually driving it. He can now teach the guys under him. You've got a crew out on your own now that I'm sure Matt taught. So you each have your role, and you know what your role is to make the company work, right? So as long as you don't demean him and he doesn't demean you, like say, Mike, why aren't you out installing? Or you say, why aren't you out running a computer program?
No,
it works.
We're 50-50, and we don't step on each other. There's a line, and I don't tell him how to install, and he doesn't tell me how to sell. He doesn't tell me how to run the computer, and I don't tell him how to configure the truck. You know what I mean? So we have this line where it's just like we respect each other's sides, and that's the only way it works. Because if I'm just like, hey, I think we should move the ladder to this side of the truck, he's just going to be like, fuck off. I drive the truck, So we just leave. We draw the line, and I run the office, administrative, sales, marketing. He runs the guys, the installers. He does the scheduling. So we draw the line. That's the only way it works. Otherwise, I don't know. We'd be killing each other.
Yeah, it'd be chaos. You'd be fighting over stupid stuff and not growing your business. You take your eye off the ball, right?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. You've got to keep your eye on the ball. What's your focus and what's your goal?
Yeah, it's still an evolving. Don't get me wrong. It's not like we open and be like, all right, I'm going to do this and this, and you do that and that. I mean, it took a lot of fighting to get there.
A lot of coordination.
I feel like we've landed on a really good spot. We know each other's roles, and we can kind of support each other. So like, I won't, if he tells the guys to go do this, I'm not going to be like, we don't undermine each other. We don't undercut each other. So it works.
These guys, I don't know if you guys on the rest of the group are following what Mike has done, but he's done a turnaround in his family business over the last year and a half, and it's absolutely spectacular. What they've done, how he's rebranded, his trucks are meticulous. The showroom, he put some money into his showroom, and I mean, he's really done a hell of a job, and he's got some serious competition around him, and he's still competing very well against it.
Yeah, I mean, we started off as a glass company, like 11, 12 years ago, and it was all I knew. Like I said, my family was in it since the 60s, so I was just when we went into business for ourselves, that's all we knew how to do. So that's what we did. And then as time went on, we, about a year and a half ago, or more than that, I started talking to Bill, and, we started running the numbers, and, a lot of stuff just stopped making sense to do. So we just lopped a bunch of stuff off. And then we just decided to just take the full plunge and be like, all right, we're just going to rebrand as a shower door company. Image Glassworks is just going to take a back seat to that. And, it's been, I would never look back. I haven't looked back. Even it's made easier processes. It's easier relationships with the employees, easier everything. I can't think of one thing that has not, one area of the business that it has not improved. Easier to track money, finances, cost of goods, so everything.
Yeah. It's great.
Congratulations, man. That's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's definitely, this wasn't gray 2 years ago.
Right.
Pretty fucking gray now. So it was definitely a long road, but and a lot of money, and it's just a lot of hidden money. Like when you think, I'll rebrand or whatever, but it's the website, and it's the trucks, and it's the building, it's the sign, it's the domains, it's the, I go on. I'll still find things that have Image Glassworks on. So it's still going on, but it's just, there was a lot of hidden costs that I didn't expect. And, if I had to do it over again, I would do it over again. So.
Yeah, keep in mind, you did that while you were building your house too. So there's money being drained there too. So I think it amplified the money you were spending on the business, because already on your mind, the money that you're putting into your house and in your car.
Yeah, but I know. Sometimes I bite off more than I should, but what can I do?
It's okay. If you're going to work hard, play hard, right?
Yeah, that's it. I'm sitting in my house now. I'm a happy guy. It's, it is what it is. Sitting in the business every day, and I wish I could say it runs itself, but it definitely does not. Look, I'm still wearing my Image Glassworks shirt. I just realized that it's everywhere. It's in my closet.
That's what we do. Chris.
Yeah, hey, I think it's super cool that you guys have developed such a cool friendship, and that so much about what's going on in each other's businesses, and it's like, that's pretty inspiring to me.
Yeah, I've been down there a couple times. Very inspirational to go down there and just kind of see everything work, why it works, how it works. And I've talked to Bill over the years, talked to Keith all the time. So very inspirational, and I'm very thankful for the mentorship.
And again, Chris, it's because of this site. This is how we met, right?
Yeah,
it was because of this Facebook group. Again, it's what this has done, the power of this Facebook group.
And it's really incredible, like Bill and Keith, these guys are like so approachable and so available. And you think, man, like when I first met Bill, I was like, man, there's a guy who's like a mover and shaker. He's a busy guy. And, I felt bad about taking any of his time, but whenever I'd reach out to you, Bill, you're always like super available.
Yeah.
And like have all the time. It's like, oh yeah, I'm not that busy. I've got time to talk. It's like, wow, man.
A lot of stuff's changed over 4 or 5 years too. We've hired people to take over the heavy lifting of the day-to-day stuff. So I enjoy doing this type of thing. I do this with the college. I do it with high school kids, do it with grammar school kids, then get involved politically with stuff locally that, hey, if they're going to make laws for us to comply, we ought to have some say in those laws. So start learning what's going on around us. And it's important. And I never realized when I was deep buried in building the business how important it was. But it's really important to get involved.
Yeah, I got to push back, man.
You got to
push back.
And whether you're pushing back or you're just putting your input in it, right? You're being part of the process.
Yeah, same thing. It's like, yeah. Yep.
Chris, one thing to kind of add on to the question or whatever you said. One thing Keith told me from the very beginning is when we first went down there, and they just opened the doors to us and just kind of would answer any question or anything. Keith said to me after, he goes, maybe 6 months after I started implementing and executing stuff, he goes, Mike, because I was very thankful for everything that they did for me. And he said to me, he goes, Mike, you're not the first person or the first company or the first whatever to come down here and we open our doors to. He goes, but you are one of the few that go home and execute.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, most people will come down here and they'll either come down here to brag about how they do stuff or whatever. They don't really, you know what I mean? Or they'll just go home and just kind of fall back into the rut that they were they normally were in. So like the Dobbins are there and the information is available to anybody. I'm sure, I find it hard to believe that they would tell anybody no. But what Keith told me is like a lot of people just don't listen or are afraid or, you know what I mean? Or for whatever reason, they don't execute or implement what they learn. So, Keith told me that a long time ago. It's kind of stuck with me pretty heavily.
I had dinner with Keith last night, and Mike, that's exactly what he said to me about you. Now, in all fairness, there's people that come down and would like to implement it, but they have partners, and that goes back to the partnership that say no, or they don't have the funds to do it. They want to do it, but they don't have the means, the time, the desire, whatever it is. There's always some other stumbling block. But you were in a unique position where you had the time, the desire, and the knowledge to implement it. You could see the light. You could visualize your growth. And it's the same thing when Greg comes on here and talks about Clinton Glass and how good it is. Well, you can see his growth now when he's with Brian. And to go
Talked to Greg this morning. Greg's another amazing resource when it comes to numbers.
phenomenal.
The first one to tell you he's like a nerd when it comes to numbers. I was on the phone with him from the whole drive to work, and he's going through everything. And I'm like, all right, dude, let me get into my office. I'm going to put the numbers together that you're talking about, and then I'll text them to you, and you can call me back when you're in the office. And he's literally installing his new $500,000 machine right now, and he takes time out of his day on the shop to call me and go over numbers and help me come up with the break-even numbers that I'm looking for that's going to help me. You know what I mean? So I don't know, you guys, like, the information is there. It's just whether you're going to listen or not.
Yeah, right. I guess the good thing is you can get that information from accountants, you can get it from online, but you're getting it from somebody that's in your industry.
It's industry specific, and that's what it helps. You can have the conversation and relate to, your cost of goods is glass and material and direct labor. You know what I mean? It's glass is in the work. So you're getting industry specific information. It's extreme, it's invaluable.
Totally. Why is your camera zooming in and out?
I'm on my iPad, so if I move, the iPad kind of
It focuses.
Yeah,
No kidding.
That's pretty cool, huh?
I haven't seen that before. It's almost like I'm watching an episode of The Office and I'm zooming in and zooming out. Yeah, right.
It is.
Hey, Bill,
like
have you ever thought about putting a curved tempering oven?
No.
Oh God.
Curve? No. There's not enough called for that. You know what we're working on right now, Eliban, is with our laminate line is to get certified for bulletproof and impact glass, especially bulletproof. That's one of the reasons I'm trying to get so involved politically is to get in the right positioning for this. Once we get certified for that, there's a huge market for safety glass and what they call deterrent glass. Get it into schools and public buildings. I just read in Glass Magazine, the state of Delaware has got it on the docket right now to get signed into law that all new schools, public buildings, and any school that put in for renovations must have intruder deterrent glass. So they stay away from the word bulletproof or ballistic. But the intention is highly laminated glass to stop people. So we've got the machinery. We just have to get our certification and all the formulas for it.
So you have to get the Hershey Walker.
What's that?
Hershey Walker certification. Isn't that it for?
I don't know. Max was getting me all the info through the NGA.
Yeah.
We have to you send it out to a third-party testing lab, and then you get your certifications.
Yeah, that's the ones that the label had to be on the stuff we got.
Yeah, and also some of the interlayer companies like Correa, have a whole list, and it'll give you the different levels. You know, you can do 1/8 over 1/8 over 1/4 using SGP or whatever else the interlayer needs to be.
That's
And
still
it'll-
heavy.
Oh, it gets wicked heavy, but doesn't mean I have to install it either. Maybe we could just make it and sell it.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Cash and carry on
I
Saturdays.
can't wait to see. I can't wait to see Keith's videos test.
Yeah. You saw the
Right?
size. You saw the size of that wine closet they just put in.
Yeah, that was something else,
Yeah.
man.
You know, Keith said by the end of this week, if something happens to that glass, they won't be able to get it out unless they rip the whole kitchen apart. Because they had to get a machine in there. Now the island is in that place. I mean, it is monstrous. It's monstrous.
Bill, are you going to Dallas? I know you didn't come to Atlanta. You had something going on.
Me?
Yes.
No, Don and I are traveling. We're hitting baseball stadiums this summer, and I think I'm
Oh,
going
nice.
to be in. I'm going to be in Minnesota or something during that.
Well, let me know where you're at Fenway.
Last weekend when they played Tampa Bay in September.
All right, I'll be here.
Right on.
It's
Yeah,
gonna get cold, so you have to wear like sweatshirts and stuff. I know you're not used to that, but
yeah, I know.
Do you
I know.
own a sweater, Bill?
yeah.
Yeah, my hockey sweater. Pull it out.
Nice.
That's funny. Gee, Chris, there was another good topic I was just thinking of that. Oh, how many of you guys are running against competition that are running ads generated by AI?
Ooh, good question.
Don't know.
What kind of
How
ads?
would you
Like Facebook
know,
ads?
right?
Yeah, you
Like
can tell by
Facebook
a lot of, Facebook, social media ads. You can just tell they're AI generated, sometimes just by the pronunciation of certain words that a computer doesn't generate properly.
You talking about like paid ads? Or are you talking about just like posts or like?
Either, both. I mean, I'm seeing it a lot. So I'm actually filming something to not to combat it, but just to say, when you're dealing with us, you're not dealing with any artificial anything. You're dealing with real people.
Mm.
You know, you call here, you're getting somebody to answer it, not a voicemail. You're not getting artificial images. We send you an image of something, it's something we've done, and I can tell you the name and address of the person that we did it for. None of these are like, I don't know, I think that just builds a little bit more confidence.
Mhm.
There's so much fake stuff out there now, it's crazy.
Are you saying that these are like marketing companies that are putting out these AI deals and then they're just kind of like finding somebody to sub it to?
No, these are companies, I think they're doing it themselves. You can use ChatGPT to create an ad for you, and they'll do video as well.
Yeah, I think just about every platform now, probably, I mean, even Facebook or Meta, wherever they're calling themselves this
Yeah.
week, have their own bots or whatever that'll do
You
stuff
can
for
do
you.
Instagram, yeah.
Right.
They even have a green screen app, so you just stand in front of a wall and as if it's a green screen, and then you can drop anything in there.
Mhm.
I'm just seeing it more and more in every type of business, not just shower doors. Every type of business. And maybe combat is the wrong word, but I just think that people are getting inundated with this now. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to start looking for somebody that's real. They want to deal with real people, not virtual people. Just maybe it's my age. I don't know.
I think another thing is something I talk about a lot is just the way you position yourself, and the clientele that you pursue,
Yeah.
right? You want to be going after the more affluent customers if you can. I mean, take whoever wants to hire you, right? But if you're targeting more affluent people or people who want that personal touch, people who want to deal with other human beings, the cheapest, bottom rung customer, they don't care. They don't care if you're using AI. They don't care if it's a bot. They don't care if it's automated. They don't care. They just want the cheapest price. Someone will come and do it fast and cheap. But if you're targeting a market that's more, high class, high end, then they're more particular. And I think there is something to be said for, hey, yeah, we're real people over here. If you call us, a human being's can answer the phone, someone who can empathize with you. I mean, I know that's a big part of Keith's whole thing is that empathy, you know, and like, I don't know what he calls it, like strategic empathy or something like that. You know, it's like there's something to that. I mean, people want to know that you care, you know, and if like I've got a customer, sometimes, you know, sometimes our projects don't go like smooth as silk. You know, sometimes there's hiccups, you know, and sometimes customers get upset, and just being able to talk to them, let them know, hey, it's like, yeah, I'm the owner of this company and I care about how you feel about this, you know. I feel worse than you do about your project going bad, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
I
there's
always
a
tell my
lot to be
guys we're
said by
selling a
that.
luxury. Sorry, I said I always tell my guys we're selling a luxury product. A frameless shower door is a luxury product.
Yep.
You can put a towel curtain up, go to Target for $10, and it'll function pretty close to the same way. But we're asking customers, homeowners, people to part with, I don't know, $3,000. So it's nice if we talk to them at least, you know. So I always kind of, you know, we take it, sometimes we just take it for granted. And what we sell is just, we go in and into these houses, we get into this routine. But I tell my guys, every house that we go into, every customer that we talk to, it's the first time we talk to them. So we just need to kind of reboot and remember that it's the first time that we talk to them. And we need to kind of continue to give that customer the same experience as we gave the customer last week and the week before that. We don't want to get into this routine where everything becomes artificial. And then we kind of lose that personal approach.
So we did a focus group this week, and it was all about marketing and what's the biggest hot button. Like if you were to advertise in a print piece or even a social media thing, what is the number one attraction that people would pick up the phone to call you for? Is it a good image? Is it a testimonial? And everybody, number one was price. And what blew me away is how can you even judge price if you don't know the quality of what you're buying? So to me, it's an artificial want. They want the best price. Yeah, everybody does. Mm-hmm. What they really want is good value. Are they getting something good at a reasonable price that they're comfortable paying? It's not about best price. It's totally not. Because especially the clients that are buying the luxury product, they're willing to pay. They want the service. They want the quality. And they'll pay the $200 or $300 more instead of going to the guy down the street. So even though people say it's price, and probably 90% of your customer interaction starts off with price, it's really not it. It's really not it.
I agree, because our contact form actually has, because the way that I kind of came up with going against people, you know, trying to get people to think before they even contact me, I want them to think more than just the price. So our contact form asks the customer, what's most important to you? And then there's checkboxes: price, the warranty, the experience, the quality of the hardware, the lead time, whatever. And they go in and they fill out their contact form and they check off what's important to them. So when we get the email and we make the call and they checked off hardware quality, we can start talking. Hey, I saw you, you know, let me talk to you about the hardware. It just gives us that first in. But like you said, 90% of the people check off that price. They could check them all, they could check one or whatever, but 90% of the people do check off that price one. So, I mean, that's always a thing. But that form tries to get them thinking before they even get a hold of us that hey, there's more to it than price. Hey, there's the warranty, and you know, so it's just, we try to get their, you know, gears turning before we even get them on the phone. And it seems to work pretty well.
You've heard of the business pyramid, right? You draw a triangle and you label each of the points. It'll be price, quality, and time. And it generally says pick two because you can't have all three.
Yeah.
And if you present that to a customer, you say, so what is important to you? Is it price? Is it how fast you get it? Or is it the quality? And they're all going to say, well, I want all three, but if I had to sacrifice one, it would be the time. So they want the price and they want the quality, and they don't mind waiting. Right. If they had to pick 2 out of 3. But it's a funny exercise, and it's a fun exercise if you have the right customer. Just kind of go through that. We can all learn a lot about our customers, and focus groups are incredibly telling. It's like, hey, how many estimates did you get? Well, no, we only really went with one. We called you and your price was what we expected to pay. I don't want 3 other guys coming in my house to get me an estimate. I just don't want it. So
Yeah.
the whole pricing game is interesting.
But yeah, but then also, Bill, you guys do also target the more affluent customer.
Yeah, of
You're
course.
doing that. So naturally, the people who you're going to see are people who are like that, you know, and really don't. If you impress them, you've got the job.
Yeah.
They're not going to go shopping around, you know. But what Michael was just saying there, though, man, I really like that. That whole idea of making them think before you even talk to them about things other than price. Yeah, everybody wants the best price. We're trained to do that, right?
Yeah.
But then your questionnaire kind of like there's a little deprogramming thing of like, well, what about this? What about that? So and then
it gets them thinking without you asking the question.
Yeah. And then when you talk to them, you've got that information about them. Oh, so I know that you care about the hardware. You want to make sure that the hardware matches, or that the hardware is good, or there's quality. It's not gonna, you know.
And if they click on lead time, we can say, you know, our lead times are 3 to 4 weeks, but let me explain why, right? And it gives you a chance to address what's important to them without having to pry all this information out, because they check the box. They check the box. They already told you.
Love it.
Hey, Chris, one last thing before we go. I would just want to ask, did anybody on this group here log into the seminar that FHC put on yesterday to get a credit on their continuing education?
I did not.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if there was anybody else. Basically, they went through, Danny Donahue kind of went through the guide that we helped write. And FHC submitted that to the AIA, the was it Architect Institute of America, AIA? And they put on a 1-hour class that gives them 1-hour continuing education credit. So there was quite a bit of architects on there, but it was Paul Donahue and Paul Daniels and Danny Donahue. I attended it, but I don't know who else was on it. They know, I don't. So I was wondering if there was anybody else from here.
I'm glad you did that, man. You were our representative.
Yeah.
At that.
But nobody else knew I was there other than Paul and Danny. But that's
awesome. Yeah, it was
interesting.
I saw it, but I could pull myself away to attend it. That's cool. I'm sure we'll see that come up again. I'll pay more attention next time.
I got a certificate from them today, so it's interesting. We'll post it up on the website, and
awesome.
It's one more piece of credibility for people that are comparing it against an AI company.
Excellent. Hey, thanks everybody for showing up, man. That was a really good call.
Awesome.
Enjoy the rest of your week. See you next Wednesday.